Hey, welcome back to Barely on Fire. I'm Andrew.
I'm Stephanie.
And thanks for joining us again.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Today, we figured we'd just give you a little glimpse into the reflections of the first 3 months of living full-time in our RV and some of the benefits and challenges we've faced along the way.
As well as a tour of the interior of the RV. So you know what we have been working with for the last 3 months, and so you know what we will be working with for our trip from Florida all the way out to Arizona, starting on Tuesday, December 1st. And then we're getting to Arizona December 10th. Hopefully, knock on wood.
Woo! If we don't go over something that you have a question about, please feel free to give us a comment, and we'll try to include it in our next video.
Or text us or email us. Find a way. Please let us know.
Let's get to it.
Woo! So what you just saw was the front of the RV with Andrew and Bear. Now we'll be panning left to the kitchen. You see the microwave and some kitchen storage, as well as the countertop, the sinks, and then that's where we have the trash. There's our stove, oven, and here we go. Okay, so we'll start with challenges of living in an RV, and then we'll move on to the benefits, of which there are many. The challenge number one, I would say, for both of us is that, right?
Yeah.
Do you agree? Okay. Is that when one of you needs privacy, like when I'm working remotely and on a video call, or when he's playing Xbox and yelling at the screen, there's really not anywhere to go. So sometimes I'll work from outside, or
that's when I get my fishing in.
Or he goes fishing because I'm on a work call. And, you know, our RV door is right behind us here. So, like, when I'm on a call, if I'm sitting here, it's... Sorry. It's distracting to have him going back and forth. So sometimes he'll be grilling when I'm on a work call. And I'll just, like, set up the camera so that it's, like, just facing this curtain right here. So I would say that is probably our biggest concern challenge.
Probably the one that's most ongoing, but still we've been able to work around it.
Yeah, so that's number one. Next we'll touch on number two. So you see Bear just got off the sofa. We flattened it out. Bear, get back up there. There we go. So they call this a jackknife sofa. It's really only big enough for a little one and a dog.
All right, challenge number two. A little bit of background. We've been in Florida for the last 3 months, and it was during the rainy season and the hurricane season. We got relatively lucky, but we did have one time when we had a tropical storm come through. So while I was working and I was unable to help out, Steph had to get the RV ready to go just in the event that we needed to evacuate.
I wish I had photos to show you, because I was under the RV trying to get these jacks out, and I was struggling really hard, and it was raining, and I thought I had to evacuate like immediately. And then thankfully I didn't have to evacuate until after Andrew got home from work, but I did get all the jacks and everything prepared while he was at work, and thankfully the storm held off long enough that I didn't have to just like hightail it out of here, because that was a little bit nerve-wracking.
And we were mostly worried about branches from the trees around us falling onto the top of the RV and doing some kind of damage. and we didn't know how much the RV itself could withstand. So we found the closest Walmart that we could, and we spent a balmy night inside the RV with no AC.
It was hot.
But that's only because we didn't know our generator at the time, and next time we'll be more prepared.
Yeah, we weren't sure how long the generator could run the AC overnight, and it was somewhat cool, so we just decided not to run the generator. And with the two of us, and of course Bear in the bed, with only one small window that opens this way that the rain couldn't get through, open, it was warm. So it didn't, and the RV was like...
In the end, it was just a very inconvenient night, and everything went well. And if I had known my generator a little bit better, then we could have had the AC on all night long.
That's true. This is our overcab queen size bed. It's got 1, 2, 3 speakers for our surround sound that we can only use when we're using the DVD player. But you can see that it's actually a queen bed. So we also have a curtain here that covers up the overcab bed, the queen size bed that we mentioned. And you can just Velcro that closed. And then there's a nice little private room for your guests. So I think the next thing that probably comes up with some consistency is clothes. But I will say that at home we had the same struggle with clothes.
The storing of clothes.
So, sometimes we'll do the laundry and then we'll leave the clothes unfolded and then they just get like pushed aside. And that's something that we're working on, both of us. So we need a little bit better of a clothing system. You'll see in the other videos that we're posting of the interior, there's tons of storage. In fact, a lot of the storage of our clothes are clothes that we just realized we didn't even need while we're here. I would say I've maybe used 5/8 of the clothing I brought.
And that's after we gave away half of all of our clothes before we even left.
Yeah, and no go.
Oh, but Steph is going to have a follow-up video about storage and how we put everything away and how we make the most of the spaces that we do have.
Yeah, as soon as we bought the RV, I literally made a chart. If I can find it and post it in this video, I will. I made a chart of all the different storage spaces in the RV and what we were going to put where, because I knew that one way to avoid just like struggle was to know where things were going to go from the beginning, and that has served us really well. I will say, it's not that we have too many clothes, it's that the clothes that we're using with frequency, we don't have a great system of storing them in a convenient way, if that makes sense. Let us know if it doesn't. All right, so the last challenge we'll go over is maintaining connections with folks at home in a meaningful way. Because Zoom only gets you so far. He and his friends play, like, can I say the names of the games?
You can just say video games.
Video games. Play video games on a console. And so it's really easy for him to like connect with people literally like every day, every other day. And so if you're not playing video games, it is a little bit trickier to like, you obviously will reach out to your friends via text or Zoom or in other ways, but like we're only here for this assignment for 3 months and it's in the midst of COVID. So we're not like out hanging out in the RV park like with everybody's really super friendly, but like it doesn't make sense to try and foster brand new connections to folks who are physically in our physical proximity currently, which is tough for the outgoing one of the bunch.
Yeah, so I think what Stephanie's trying to say is that different people connect with others differently. And me and my friends do a really great job of doing it electronically. Some people need that physical like sitting around a fire and chatting. And that is an ongoing challenge still.
Introvert, extrovert. And that's all I got to say about that. So this is one of the most exciting pieces of the RV, the Andrew, the fridge to our left, and then my closet to the left, and then you'll see the mirror and Andrew, and the bathroom sink, and the lights to the sink, the door that closes off the bedroom. Also, you can use the bathroom door as kind of like a ensuite to close off both spaces.
Number 4 challenge that we've gotten a pretty good hold on is making your RV not smell like an RV. And when I say that is, inside the RV you have your 2 different holding tanks. One's your black tank, one's your gray tank, one's for like refuse, and one's for like when you take a shower and dishes and all that. And sometimes there's a tendency for it to back up into the RV. For the first month or so, we were having a hard time. It could have also been because it was 90 degrees out. But with help of enzymes and more routine emptying of tanks, we've gotten a good handle on it.
Yeah, I think part of that issue is that the lights, which in the other short videos we'll show you, the lights that say how full each tank currently is might not be quite accurate. And so it might say our gray tank is only like 3/4 of the way full. And that just might not be the case, or that our black tank's full even when we've just emptied it. So we've kind of had to like get a feel for where the tanks are by like amount of use.
Yeah, I think we've found out that, and of course, after you use your own RV for a while, you'll get a system in place. But we found that about 3 days is what it takes for our gray water tank to fill, and that's when we usually empty both of our tanks.
Yeah, and for folks who are RVing consistently and do BLM land, like, and boondocking, which is like when you are staying on land where there aren't hookups for your sewer or electric or water, which we'll have videos about in the future. Like, that's more pertinent. If you don't have hookups, it's more pertinent for you to know how long you can go without emptying.
Right. You don't want to be on day 2 and be like, oh, day 2 boondocking, and then be like, oh my gosh, I didn't empty my tanks and I have to go back now.
Yeah, I have nowhere to go, or I have to like go to a Walmart in the middle of the day. Well, they don't.
Cabela's. You can go to Cabela's.
Right. To empty. Who knew?
Who knew?
So now, this is to the right of our front door. We got our shoe rack, and then our command center is over the door on the right. And you can see this tells us how full our gray and black tanks are. There's the control for the slide, our keys, and the start-stop for the generator.
Okay. Hey, since we've gone over some of the challenges associated with full-time RV living, we figured we'd go over some of the many benefits that we've seen in the last few months.
So, number 1 being freedom to relocate. We moved from the north way down to the south in Florida, primarily for Andrew's travel nursing assignment, which is in relation to COVID. So all the traveling that we're currently doing is essential travel. That being said, it's so easy to just literally start up our vehicle, because we've got a Class C motorhome, start it up, pull in the slides, take up all of the stabilizers, like the jacks that we have, and move wherever we need to move, when we need to move there. I think we already mentioned what we had to do for, was it?
Evacuation.
Yeah, evacuation for Storm Eta. So, I mean, we can move with ease if and when we need to. And the fun part is, if we want to, it's really not a problem. All right, benefit number 3, you can make your own timeline. You can go where you want to go, when you want to go there. This obviously is a little bit COVID dependent, because we're in the middle of a global pandemic, which we've never had to do before. But since, as I mentioned earlier, we've got essential travel going from one place to another, we're able to go from where, point A to point B. But if COVID were not a thing, you could go from Florida to New Orleans to Tennessee to South Dakota if you wanted a really, really long day or a couple of days. You can really decide the route you want to go. You can decide what you want to prioritize seeing. If you want to see every gem museum in the United States, you can plan your route around that.
The world is your oyster.
The world is your oyster. Really, plan your timeline around what is important to you, and any sort of specific timelines that you have to work around, like weddings. I mean, in non-COVID times, weddings, holidays, or other special events that you need to be in specific places for. But the idea of living in an RV essentially means you can be where you want to be when you want to be there, and that's pretty cool. So there's our ensuite sink. And then when you open the door to the bathroom, we keep our towels there. You'll see our shower head. Got a little skylight and a light up there. And then just outside there, you'll see we have our toilet paper, and then another medicine cabinet over the toilet where we keep all the non-daily bathroom stuff. All right, for the next benefit 3, 4, 5, who knows? This could encompass a ton of benefits. But so having a small space means, yes, it will get messy quickly, but it also means that if you're oh shoot, I'm gonna have company, you throw 2 things under your storage sofa, you Lysol wipe down some stuff, and voila, you have a beautiful space. So it's small, it's easy to get messy, but it's very easy to clean. So if in the morning you want to get up and just clean the whole place, it's a 29-foot RV. There's not a ton of space to clean. So when we want it clean, it really doesn't take much time. And that's really convenient.
Half an hour, and you got the whole place spotless.
Right. Easy. And then, since you have such a small space, it also encourages you to spend a lot of time outdoors, particularly if you're staying somewhere where the weather is nice.
And if you're living in an RV, why aren't you?
Right. So, we're currently in a place, it's the end of November, and it's 70-something degrees. We're about to hit December, and it'll be 68. That's not so bad. People have Christmas lights on their palm trees. That's not even something I would have that wouldn't have entered my mind. But it's happening here, now.
And so can you.
All right, we'll tell you a lot more about the kitchen in future videos, but you can see our spice rack, our double sinks. This is where we keep our utensils and the things that we use the most in the kitchen, knives, measuring cups. And now we'll head back to the bedroom. Andrew's closet's to the left there. We've got 2 windows back here, a bedside table on my side, 3 overhead storage bins, and there's Andrew's closet again, our other window. And here's Mr. Bear, the reason for our namesake, Barely on Fire. Number 5! Joke's on you, we don't have a number 5.
All right.
Look at me slacking on the job. I'm supposed to be doing stuff. Okay, here I come down the hallway to show you our under bed storage. We have a lot of clothes there and all of our shoes, as well as some other stuff. Whoa! Yeah! There you go. I'm just making sure the lists are comprehensive. I'm writing. Stop looking at me.
All right, benefit number 2 is RV living can potentially be more inexpensive than living in a home itself. For us, the expense of living in a RV plus lot rent, if you're really looking on the inexpensive side, can be more inexpensive than our home. In our case, it is more inexpensive than our home. That, and it gives you that flexibility of freedom that Steph was telling you about earlier.
There you go. That's benefit number 2. Okay, so this is my favorite storage bin. There are 4 next to the queen bed. Check that out. All of our chargers, laptop chargers, projector cords. So easy.
Thanks again for listening to our benefits and challenges video from Barely on Fire. We can't wait to upload more videos in the future. Keep a lookout. We'll be uploading weekly.
Yes. This week we did, Thursday, and we're going to do Sunday. Going forward, we'll probably aim to do every Monday. So the upcoming videos will be from here in Florida out to Arizona, and like what went right, what went wrong, and all of the things in between. It'll be fun. It'll be an experience.
Come learn with us.
Hey!
Hey! Thanks again for coming out. Be sure to like and subscribe. Click that notification bell if you want to see more videos in the future. Things are only gonna get better from here.